Right, that's Twitter done. Now onto YouTube. And our first question comes in from Dan, Stuart Studios 5. He asks, what was your first exposure to Thomas, Bob, and Bluey? Already answered Thomas and Bob. But as for Bluey, I think I probably saw like a clip of it on Twitter. And didn't really think much of it. Other than, oh, apparently it's better than Peppa Pig. Anything is better than Peppa Pig. But I put sole blame on my Aussie mate, Sam the Angel Fox, for getting me into Bluey. So I have him to thank for getting me into Bluey. And do you prefer Thomas fan stories filmed in trains or actual models? Actual models. Trains is alright, but it's a severely overused platform. And actual models can look good, but then you got Project Tiger Moth, which is just mid. Steamboat Productions asks, favourite train character that isn't from Thomas? Probably Ivor the Engine. What do you think of Chuggington? I remember seeing Chuggington when I was little on CBeebies, but not really thinking much of it. But most of my exposure comes from Leo Kim Video, and nowadays I just think of it the same way as I do with All Engines Go. I see it, but I don't care. And what are your thoughts on Phantom Strider's opinions on Thomas or Tugs? I don't pay attention to his opinion. Charlie Spoofmaker asks, what do you think of Has-Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss? I'm staying the fuck away from that. Will you do your own ranking of every Thomas narrator? Probably not, but here's my ranking anyway. And will you do your own retrospective on Hit Entertainment? I am, but it's still a long process. We'll get there eventually. Thomas Theorist asks, have you seen any videos of mine? I've been watching a lot of your videos recently, Adam. I don't know why, I just wanted to. And Thomas and Tugsman and Thomas Theorist crossover when? If you want to talk about Bob, I'm all here. And if you were to change the making of the first Bob the Builder CGI series, how would you have done it differently? Would you have had Sunflower Valley be in the CGI series? Is there anything you would change about the show, like moving Bob to the big city? I've never really thought about it, but now that you say that, I'd like to see that. Bob is tasked with building a big city from the ground up. And as he does it, the machines learn that they are a little bit too small for building a big city and need help from much larger machines. There'll be occasional episodes here and there where Bob goes back to Bobsville and Sunflower Valley, but the main core premise of the series is Bob building a big city from the ground up. Liam Fitzgerald asks, what's your favourite Bob the Builder episode? My favourite episode is Bob's Big Surprise from Series 2. What was your first VHS or DVD of Bob the Builder you remember owning? Feast of Fun. And favourite Bob the Builder movie? At this point, definitely A Christmas to Remember. The Lincolnshire Tank Engine asks, are there any more vehicle shows you will be doing a review retrospective on? Other than Rory the Racing Car and Theodore Tugboat? Not really. But I would like to return to Budgie, maybe. What is your favourite Bluey episode and why? I said it before, my favourite episode is The Creek, but why it is my favourite episode is because of the scenery. I love the detailed sets in that episode. And favourite YTP you've ever made? Again, either Trapdoor YTP with Pink Delilah Tea, or Fireman Sam one with Percy 66C, Sudagon and Pink Delilah Tea. Tudor Branku Turku asks, what are your top 10 favourite Top Gear moments? I don't have a top 10, but I can name some of my favourite Top Gear moments. The bad Peugeot drivers, the police car challenge, the Alfa Romeo challenge, the India special, the Patagonia special, the ambulance challenge, budget supercar challenge in Spain, and the SUV challenge that Jeremy and James did. Would you have liked to see the World War II Thomas movie? No. I couldn't take it seriously, knowing for the fact that they are combining World War II with Thomas the Tank Engine. You can't take it seriously. And what are your least favourite Queen songs? I wouldn't really say I have least favourites, but don't get me wrong, I love Bohemian Rhapsody and Don't Stop Me Now, but my problem with them is that they are a little bit too overplayed, if you know what I mean. Will you upload any more piano covers, particularly of Thomas themes? I would like to upload maybe more piano covers. I did a really good cover of the Living Tombstones Five Nights at Freddy's song on a grand piano. Which I may upload at some point. Favourite UK Thomas VHS release? Seasonal Scrapes, definitely. And favourite classic Thomas song? Again, it depends on my mood. Sometimes it's the Snow song, and sometimes it's James the Really Splendid Engine. Thomas1651 asks, if you have a favourite Thomas YouTuber, who is it? I don't, but I do split between watching my friends, such as ThomasFan261, Usual Bloke Luke, Post660, Hydro Productions, those kind of people, to more well-known Thomas content creators like Unlucky Tug and Thomas Theorist. What is your favourite nostalgic Thomas video? Either Thomas Blows His Stack or Mad Bomber. And which piece of Thomas Lost Media do you want to see get released the most? None. I just want Series 5 and 6 of the Raggy Dolls, please. William Barnett asks, favourite Bob the Builder episode, Bob's Big Surprise, favourite Bob the Builder series, Series 2, and what got you into Bob the Builder? It was just on TV that my mum put on. What are your thoughts on Duncan Gets Spooked? It is my favourite episode from Series 5, and what is your favourite FNAF game from the FNAF trilogy? Probably the first one. Cooper and Friends asks, favourite episode from each Thomas series? That's a very good question. For Series 1, it's Thomas and the Trucks. Series 2, Percy's Ghostly Trick. Series 3? I can't choose.
Damn you.
For now, I'll say Trust Thomas, but I can't guarantee that will stay because it changes very frequently because Series 3 is my favourite series. Series 4, Thomas and the Special Letter. Series 5, Duncan Gets Spooked. Series 6, Thomas the Jet Engine. Series 7, Best Dressed Engine. Series 8, Gordon Takes Charge. Series 9, Duncan and the Old Mine. Series 10, James the Second Best. And Series 11, Thomas and the Storyteller. Is Cars Retold still in the works? Yes, it is. We're still looking for animators and voice actors. We just need to find a way to promote the project. ABDB asks, what's your favourite line that Michelangelos delivered? Here's a select few.
The ghost engine is after me.
We want Duck, or Donald, or Douglas. Look sharp.
Pudding, Percy, teased James. Thomas whistled, and the villagers cheered when they saw their beautiful tree. They'll come back to spook you and your special funnel. Woo, woo, woo. No, wailed Duncan. I'm asleep. Fusspot, replied Falcon. Fuddy-duddy, fuddy-duddy, fuddy-duddy. Don't forget the water. Who cares? He's fallen in the water. Look at the little green engine, Alicia Botti exclaimed. So sweet and dirty, like a proper steam engine. Peasant, Gordon huffed snootily. Yes, I am pleasant.
Sir Handel had been naughty.
Cool Animations asks, what's your opinion on Ni Hao Kai Len? Ni Hao Kai Len. What is that? Oh, shit, I haven't heard about this thing in years. I remember that. Oh, God, that's just brought back a Nick Jr. memory. Fuck. What is your favourite country? England and Italy. And what do you do when you're not making videos? Thinking about videos that I can make. Usually discussing with friends on Discord what videos we're planning to do. Trainboy Ohio asks, who is your favourite Bob the Builder character? I want to say it's Lofty because he's the most relatable of the characters, but I also love Spud as well because he's just too damn funny. And what were your first reactions to the Bob the Builder reboot?
Cock.
Angel Pirello Productions asks, what is your favourite Thomas theme? I'm a basic guy, probably the main intro theme, but I also like Donald and Douglas's theme, I like Duck's theme, I like Oliver's escape theme from Series 3, and the Runaway theme. What is your favourite Thomas mashup theme? And have you heard of Hilda before? I have heard of Hilda, but I've had no desire to watch it. Alex Perrin asks, do you play Minecraft Story Mode? I've heard of it, but never played it. And do you think that Thomas will officially cross over with Bob the Builder?
No.
Shining Stars Co. asks, opinions on Ted, the Seth MacFarlane thing. I've heard it's very good. I need to watch it. The TV show in particular. And opinions on the second SpongeBob movie. You mean Sponge Out of Water? I don't remember too much from it, but it was okay. WWE Minehead asks, do you prefer Thomas or Tugs? Thomas, obviously. I have lost a huge amount of interest in Tugs. Maybe because there's only 13 episodes, and there's only so much you can talk about. What are your future plans for the channel going forward? Just to work on the big videos I planned for back in 2023. Five Nights at Freddy's will be first. And then hopefully by that time I can start work on my Bluey video, which will probably be my biggest one. And do you think pro wrestling is sus? I have no interest in wrestling, so I can't really say. What's your favourite Bob the Builder character that isn't Bob or the Machines or Wendy from the classic series? Spud. What is your favourite Series 1 Thomas episode? Thomas and the Trucks. And do you like the No, Dirty Percy was only a good line delivery and nothing more. What is your opinion on Spud? He is God. Godzilla or Kong? Godzilla. And favourite pizza topping? Margarita or just plain tomato? McJeffy asks, what episode of Thomas and Friends Series 5 do you like? I like a lot of episodes from Series 5. I like Horrid Laurie, Lady Hat's Birthday Party, James and the Trouble with Trees, By George, Something in the Air, Oliver's Find, The Fat Controller's Holiday, A Surprise for Percy, Make Someone Happy, Busy Going Backwards, my favourite one, Duncan Gets Spooked, and Rusty and the Boulder. Do you remember Michelangelo's early narrations on Thomas VHS tapes? I don't remember them, but I do own Time for Trouble and Other Stories. Number One Engine asks, who is your favourite character in Thomas and Friends and why? I know that this question depends on the era. My favourite character is Thomas from the classic era, because I feel like his growth felt very natural. It felt like as we got older, Thomas matured. What is your favourite series of Thomas and Friends and why? Series 3, because if it wasn't for Series 3, I wouldn't be as obsessed with the classic series, and in retrospect, it's very revolutionary for the time, for not only adapting stories based on the books, but also having original stories in there. And thoughts on Spider-Man. It's alright, but I haven't watched enough Spider-Man to form an opinion on it. Imagination Station asks, Mike and Junior's music or Robert Hartshorn's music? Mike and Junior's, obviously. What do you think is the most overrated and underrated series of Thomas? Most underrated series is Series 7, and most overrated series is Series 4. Out of these three shows, which would you say has suffered the most? Fireman Sam, Thomas, or Bob the Builder? Fireman Sam, honestly, because the animation barely changed from what it was in 2008 or 9 when it first went to CGI. If you look at it now, almost nothing has changed. And which incarnation of Fireman Sam do you prefer? Original or Series 5? Definitely the original, but I can't say that I don't have nostalgia for Series 5. Bryce Gum asks, who is your favourite Smiling Friends character and why? Probably Charlie. Again, the same reason as Lofty, he is extremely relatable. Who is your favourite engine from the Scarlory Railway? Series 4's To Handle and Duncan. And do you have a favourite book from the Railway series written by Christopher Audrey? Henry and the Express. Even though you don't like the CGI era, is there one episode from said era that you enjoy watching? There is only one episode from that era that I admittedly quite like, and that is Henry's Hero from Series 17. Which voice cast of the Thomas characters do you prefer? Storytellers, Magic Railway, or CGI? I prefer it when the narrator does all the voices. And have you seen or watched Hamtar? Judging from that pronunciation, no. If Tugs would have been given a second series, do you think David and his crew would have returned to Series 3 of Thomas? Definitely. I think they would have drained even more money and Tugs would just not be successful. What is your favourite movie of all time and why? I've never really thought about that. I'd probably say the first Cars film because it gave me a real introduction to the world of movies for me. And how many countries have you travelled to? I've been to 4 countries. England, Italy, Wales, and America. Most overrated Thomas episode, A Better View for Gordon. People only like it because of the crash. The beginning bit is okay, but that's really about it for me. The crash is cool, but that's really it. And do you know My Little Pony, The Loud House, and Gravity Falls? I know about them, but I have no interest in them. Josh Productions 07 asks, what are your thoughts on Fireman Sam and Postman Pat? Fireman Sam has a lot of charm to it, especially its first 4 series. And Postman Pat is the most slice-of-life kids show that's out there. particularly Series 1. Do you think Bob the Builder shouldn't have been dubbed into American English? I think the US dub is fine, particularly in the classic Bob, but when it comes to Project Builder, it's like, no, those voices just And how would you describe to someone if you were asked why you like Bob the Builder? I would say it's got a very distinct art style and a very fluent stop-motion style to it. CMR21 asks, we've all heard of someone's favourite colour, but this time I want to ask, what is your least favourite colour? That's a good question. I like dark green, but not too dark green, where it goes a little bit blue. Looks like vomit. Are there any shows that you've never seen before that you want to try watching at some point? I've seen a few clips here and there, but there's one show I need to watch, and that's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I need to watch that. And what is the most random idea you've ever had? I'd honestly say Raggy Dolls, because I was looking at the Tugs VHSs, and they were advertising the Raggy Dolls, and I decided to look a little bit into the show, and found the Teddy Bear's Picnic episode with the World War II thing, and I was like, what the hell? Right, I'm gonna do a video on this show. I remember you said in your Ready Steady Build video that you would be doing a Hit Entertainment retrospective. When is that video coming out? In the words of the great Linkara, it'll be out when it's out.
And we like that. It'll be out when it's out. But great work ethic.
Will you be doing a Cosgrove Hall retrospective too? Probably not. And will you one day do a review on the certain sister series for most shows, like Charlie Chalk or Joshua Jones? Who knows, maybe. Who do you think is better, Pingu or Bluey? Can't choose. And what is your opinion on Toot Toot Corey Kenshin? What? What is... I don't even know what this is, and I never want to hear about it ever again. Favorite YTPers? Keeper Beans, Cartoon Lover 98, Hour of Poop, or just anyone from the challenge, really. Favorite non-British cartoons? SpongeBob, Bluey, Tom and Jerry, Limp Bizkit, or Nicki Minaj? I'd rather tear my ears off than listen to those two. Number 1 Blue Engine asks, how come you don't own the Bob the Builder Snowed Under DVD? When did I say I never owned it? I do! I actually now own the UK and US DVD. Best CGI series by Sharon Miller. I think that dead silence says a lot. And do you own any take-alongs? Yes, I do. I own a few take-alongs and a couple of Taken plays as well. Bullwinkle Fan 2003 asks, what's your favourite song by Smash Mouth? All Star, honestly. I know it sounds basic, but not just because of the memes, because it's actually a good song. Do you like The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? I've never watched it, so I can't say. And what is your favourite Thomas and Friends playset? The RC Thomas at Timber Sheds playset by Trackmaster, the Super Soda Adventure set from Trackmaster, basically any of the Trackmaster stuff from the hit Toy Company era. Caledonian Railway 123 asks, what do you think of Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari? I didn't know that happened. Who do you think will win Le Mans this year? I hate to break it to you, but I'm not too much into the racing world that much, so sorry I couldn't really answer your questions. The Cartoon Manist asks, are there any big movies from various movie companies like DreamWorks, Pixar, or Illumination that you would like to review in the future?
No!
Thoughts on My Little Pony? It's a show that exists. I remember the toy commercials from back in the mid to late 2000s, but that's really about it. As for the show itself, it's just there. And what country would you like to visit? I would love to visit Australia. That is one of my bucket list places. And I would love to go back to America because it has been nearly 20 years since I last went. Genesis Railfan 150 asks, since you're kind of into planes, any interest in jet fighters? If so, what is your favorite jet fighter? I do like jet fighters. I like the F-22 Raptor. I also like the F-18. The Eurofighter. I love the Eurofighter. Such a really nice plane. How did you get your exposure to Five Nights at Freddy's? I don't want to spoil too much because I saved most of that for my mini FNAF retrospective. But I remember it was the big talk at the town back in 2014 when I was still in my last years of primary school. and I just kind of got exposed to it from there. And I know you're not really a full-on rail fan or so, but GEV of... What? It's just a bunch of gibberish. Another insignificant footnote, but any opinions or thoughts on the Amazing Digital Circus? It's alright. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it's alright. What other shows do you like from Hit Entertainment? Other than Thomas and Bob the Builder, Fireman Sam, I like Kipper, Oswald the Octopus, the Rubber Dubbers. Have you ever been to a concert or theatre show, and do you like it? No, actually. And do you have a Roblox account? Because I do Roblox live shows. I do, but I don't use it. This may not be possible, but do you plan on doing more Bob the Builder DVD reviews? I think the Bob's White Christmas one was probably a one-off, but I probably would do another one, but in the style of maybe Build It or Break It. What do you like most about Bluey? And is it relatable to you? Yes, it is very relatable to me. And the thing I like most about it is how grounded in reality it is, and how it does a successful job at standing out from the crowd of modern kids shows and snugly fits in the world of older kids shows. And what is your favourite Thomas and Friends British DVD from the 2000s? Either The Chocolate Crunch or Happy Little Helpers. Since you'll be talking about Rory the Racing Car, who was or still is your favourite character from that show and why? Probably Big Chris. Every time Peter Kay is near that microphone, he steals the show. Favorite DreamWorks film? Shrek. Not because of the memes, because it's an actually good film. And what actor would you love to meet in person? Mine is Michael Brandon. Honestly, I would also like to meet Michael Brandon in person. In fact, I actually had a really weird dream where I actually met Michael Brandon. And then for the rest of the day, I was just talking to Nico, Yoon with goggles. How did you get into the 20-minute YTP challenges? I was there since the beginning. What is your favourite Canadian cartoon show? Don't really have one. And do you have PTSD on My Little Pony? At this point I don't. Like I said, it's just a show that exists and isn't for me. Was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie good or bad? I thought that the movie was great. I loved the animatronics. I thought the acting in it was great, especially Matthew Lillard. The cameos from Corey Kenshin, Matt Pat, and all the other FNAF references in there were not too in your face, and that's why I admired about it. And hearing the Living Tombstones Five Nights at Freddy's song during the end credits, I swear, I almost shed a tear. I will admit that the film isn't very scary, and the amount of times we're in the forest does kind of kill the pace, but everything else kind of makes up for it. So I'd say there's definitely something in it for fans, and also maybe for newcomers as well, if they're a bit unfamiliar with it. But for a casual horror moviegoer, like, no, this is not for you. And speaking of the FNAF movie, Yami Tay asks, what are your hopes for the second FNAF movie? I am really looking forward to seeing what Mangle looks like. Mangle has always been one of the most interesting animatronics to me from the second game. I hope that we get to see more in the pizzeria, and I hope that Mike kind of has closure to Garrett. Yeah, those are my main kind of things I'm hoping from the second FNAF movie. And what are some big projects you have planned this year? Like I said, the mini FNAF retrospective, more best of the worst of Thomas's, that will be on the Mum Shacker 420 YouTube channel, and maybe more from Build It or Break It, and just whatever I want at this point. Willow Omega asks, what is your favourite genre of music? Like I've said, 80s, 90s, rock. What's your favourite Disney film? I know it's Pixar, but like I've said, the first Cars. And who is your biggest inspiration? Now that I think about it, I get a lot of inspiration from a lot of people, especially when it comes to like my video essays like Cadacarus, Red Letter Media, Microwave Society, kind of just a mixture of everyone. Thoughts on the Man vs. Train cartoon nightmares from MAShed? I love that series and I'm really looking forward to how it concludes. Favorite Thomas fan video / series, again, Train Killers from Hour of Poop. And what made you come up with a Bluey OC of you? I just loved watching Bluey and I just wanted to make my own character of myself in it. And with help from my friend Steam Attack, I managed to create my character. Have you seen the Bohemian Rhapsody movie? I have, but it's been a very, very long time since I've rewatched it. And I feel like if I do, I'm gonna get really annoyed of how historically incorrect it's gonna be. What is your favourite Queen song? My favourite Queen song of all time is I Want to Break Free. And what is your favourite and least favourite movie from the year 2023? I've only ever seen one film, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's. And fun fact, that was the very first film I've ever seen in a cinema. Yeah, I know. What is your favourite hit era season that isn't Series 8? Series 11. I think it starts very strong, like I said in my most recent video. Your opinion on Thomas Percy and the Squeak? It's a funny episode. Dirty Percy aside, it's really funny, particularly the UK dub, and shows that you like that are not the shows you talk about. Top Gear, The Inbetweeners, Mock the Week. Do you like Strawberry Shortcake? I've heard about it, but I don't care about it. Pizza or burgers? Pizza. Thoughts on Modern SpongeBob? Never really watched it. Do you fart? The hell? You're not hearing what I'm hearing, Dad. Thomas and the Magic Railway or Big World Big Adventures? As much as I really don't like the film, I'd rather go with Magic Railway. At least I have nostalgia for that film. What is your favourite video game? It's not really a video game, but Microsoft Flight Simulator X. And do you like Project Build It? I do like Project Build It, but only the UK dub. I've been meaning to watch the whole series, but haven't gotten round to it. Which do you like more, FNAF, Bob, or Thomas? Thomas. Is there a show or movie that you like that everyone else hates? No, not really. You should check out the Latin and Spanish dub of Thomas and Friends. I have, and it's pretty funny. Do you collect any wooden railway toys? I'm gonna be real with you, I have very little exposure to wooden railway, and I have no plans to extend my wooden railway collection. If anything, I have more of an attachment to Brio more than anything. Could Emily fit in the railway series? I think she can. Lord Stinker?
Funny rubbish.
And that is all of the questions done. If I haven't included your question, it's because it was already answered. And on that bombshell, I'm getting a drink.